evening. I'm Sarah, and I'm a middle-aged woman, 2 grown-up children, and when they reached the age of 18 and 19, and they were talking to me about where they were going, what they were going to be doing with their lives, they were on about to have a big adventure. And I thought, I want to have a big adventure too. You're never too old to have big adventures. So I thought, what do I want to do? Where do I want to go? I want to travel around Asia. So I decided that's what I was going to do. So I was going to get some money together. I was going to speak to my boss and say, what's the chance of me having a sabbatical? She agreed. Couldn't wait to get rid of me for a year, I think, but gave me the opportunity to go. So as if traveling around Asia as a single woman, backpack, sole traveler, wasn't going to be challenging enough, I thought, I want to do something a bit more, something out of my comfort zone. And I'd watched a few documentaries on things, and Freddie Flintoff, the former English cricketer, he'd done a series, and he'd been to remote parts of the world. And there was one place that he said he had absolutely no desire ever to go back to, and that was the Borneo rainforest. So I thought, that's where I'll go. So I started training. We had 2 weeks of intense training by the local guides that live near the jungle. And the idea was that what I was going to do was become proficient enough to take other young people out there and give them the experience of doing it as well. So I had to learn, basically, about casevacing, first aid, remote first aid. We were going to potentially be 12 miles away, 12 hours, away from the nearest village where we could get help. 12 hours away from where a helicopter might be able to come and pick someone up in the case of emergency. That is 12 hours just walking, not carrying someone on a sort of made-up stretcher using a hammock. We had to take another form of mobile communication with us. Mobile phones were never going to work. Sat-navs didn't even particularly work, I can tell you. So we learned how to use the old army dipoles and how to set it all up in case we needed help and communication with people. We knew we were going to have to avoid a lot of wildlife out there. The rainforest, it's an incredible part. It's the 3rd largest island in the world, and in Southeast Asia, it's a tropical island. And it's such a diverse eco-region. It's incredible. There's about 15,000 species of flowering plants, 3,000 different species of trees. That's my team that we went with. There's about 210 different types of mammals there, some so rare now, only orangutans and sun bears, a few proboscis monkeys. And there's also about 420 birds that are local to that region as well. But I have to say, how much of that did we see? Very little. There was a lot of green and brown. It is an incredibly intense place to be. The weather conditions, torrential rain a lot of the time. It is the rainforest after all. It is very humid, oppressive humidity of about 90% humidity. It gets very hot. It gets very cold at night. This is our journey on the way to going to the village to meet up with our new guides to take us through the jungle. We had a 4x4 vehicle that decided to no longer be a 4x4 vehicle, to only act like a 2x2. So no horsepower anymore, it was people power. That was when we arrived. We were shattered, and this was only day 2. We were exhausted by the arrival of it. We'd learned how to use a parang. This was going to be our wonder tool. This is a knife, as someone said. Okay, this was going to help us hack our way through the jungle. This was going to help us get firewood. This was going to help me put up my shelter every night. This was going to help me chop down some food that I needed to eat. This was going to help me survive. Putting up a hammock. The only hammock I'd been in was the one on a beach, where it was already strung up for me. I had no idea how to put up a hanger, how to hang up a tarpaulin, my mosquito net. The first time we did it, it was 4 hours it took me. We got it down after a week to about 2 hours. At night, the light goes at the click of a finger. If we didn't have our hammock set up early, how were we going to do it? With a head torch, with insects flying in our faces all the time? We had to get better. We had to develop the skills. I learned how to build shelters like this from the resources that were around. There's a wealth of resources out there able to survive. Indigenous people have been there for millennia, but as an outside person coming into this jungle, I was nervous. I was scared. It's beautiful, but it's dangerous as well. There's our dinner one night. There's fresh ferns, beautiful tasting. Bamboo, young bamboo shoots are incredible. And fish, the rivers are full of fish. Trouble is, the fish are often full of amoebas and parasites that could cause us dysentery and other forms of illnesses. Frogs, if you can find one, oh, very tasty. I have to say, you begin to eat things you would never thought you would ever live off. And things are eating you didn't think would ever live from you either. So bamboo, it's an amazing source of water. It's filtered, pure water that you can just drink out. Otherwise, I don't know if there's been a picture up there yet of the coloured water that we were drinking. As long as it was filtered, as long as it was purified, but it was brown and a little bit gritty maybe, but you got used to that. Here we have preparing the fire. A fire is, we had to do it. We're in a rainforest. It's damp. Where are we going to get dry wood? How are we going to build a fire? You learn how to do it, the time it takes to do it, the patience, the commitment, that I don't really want to do this again. But you need to. We've got to boil the water. We've got to cook the food. You've got to stay warm. I've got to get out of this damp clothing. The sweat that I have developed during that day is attracting these insects that are desperate for some salt, and they love the warm and the damp places on your body. I want to dry out. I want to change my clothes. I'm not going to be able to dry anything unless I've got a fire and put it on there. Okay, that's my first leech attack. Okay, yes. Leeches, most of the time you don't feel them. Don't know if you know what they are, but they're like little worm-like creatures that hang around on leaves and on the forest floor. And they raise up as soon as they can feel the warmth of you coming near. And they just attach themselves to you. And they have an anticoagulating sort of chemical that they put to prevent your blood from clotting, and they fill up unbeknown to you, and then happily exit once they're full. And there's one there, nicely full up. In fact, they make very good food if you want to fry up some leeches. Very tasty indeed. There are so many insects there. There are ticks, there are scorpions, there are snakes. There are some very cute things as well that you don't mind so much. But there's all sorts of parasites. We don't even know what they are. We weren't even sure what we were diagnosing. The worst thing actually was the hornets. Now the hornets swarm and they very ferociously protect their nests. And unfortunately, as you're hacking your way through the undergrowth, you might disturb a hornet's nest, and they will attack and they will sting. And they actually, for most of us, gave us a bit of a swelling, a bit of a shock. And I had one on my hand and it greatly swelled up. On their faces, greatly swelled up. And that was only just a couple. We were lucky. We had medicine that we could take with us. But unfortunately, one lad got bitten 12 times. And we were very nervous. If he had the same reaction as the others had had, we were going to have to get him out. Thankfully, he didn't. So we pushed him out first. He was always our leader from then on. If anyone was going to get stung, it was going to be him. He was not reacting. Now, this is a beautiful looking insect. It has a lovely heart shape on its back. And I was fascinated by it, got close to it, wanted to take these pictures, show everyone. Went to get the guide, who swiftly whipped out his harangue and just chopped it in half. That could have killed us. We were facing danger all the time. We were facing danger not just from the insects, but the kind of terrain we were walking through. It's an incredible place. There's like buttress roots with 60-meter trees coming out from them, creating a dome of foliage that's protecting us. No light is coming through, so it's easy to cross through because there's hardly anything can grow underneath. But there's leaf litter that some of the ferns and mosses are able to grow through, making it quite slippy and damp and wet. Lots of fungi, mushrooms and things like that. Very tasty to eat if you choose the right ones. The rivers, the rain will plummet down, and what can turn a small trickle of a stream into a raging river in just a very short while. We were going to have to cross those, and there were different ways of doing it. Sometimes there had been bridges built. Other times we had to chop down some tree and actually lay it across and get across there. Very scary, very dangerous for us to do. Often we were able to wade through it. The guides were brilliant at making sure that it was safer for us to do. And they would go in there and move rocks and put down wood. And it could take us maybe 2 hours to prepare to cross a river. So we also had ropes with us and were able to use them just to climb up and down. I thought of the forest as just being this sort of level ground. Not at all. It is incredibly challenging terrain to go through. Would I ever go back? No, I'm a bit of a Freddie Flintoff, I think. I have absolutely no desire to go back there. So why did I do it? To challenge myself, to get myself out of the comfort zone. When you're in a comfort zone, you feel safe, you feel secure, but you don't realize what strengths you've got until you put yourself out of your comfort zone. Anyone who's ever pushed yourself to the next level knows that when you challenge yourself, you really find that you can pull out amazing results. You'll become more productive, more able to deal with unusual circumstances that arise. It's easier to push your boundaries in the future. You open the door to new ideas that inspire us, that educate us in no other way, or no way that normal education can do for you. When forced out of my comfort zone, we are equipped with the unbelievable capacity to adapt. And we have this incredible gift of resilience. Until you put yourself into a situation where you have to untap that dormant resource, you don't know you've got it, but it is there. We all have it. Embrace challenge. You are multifaceted. You possess, each and every one of you, the skills required to succeed. Utilize your talents. Thrive in any given situation. You are stronger than you imagine. Digging holes to poo in every day, I realised I was stronger than I imagined. That's my bath. I wanted to get rid of some insects that were all over me at this point. I was covered in them. Okay? Do things differently. It doesn't have to be as extreme as going out into the jungle. It was incredible, but it doesn't need to be as extreme. Wear different clothes that you don't normally choose to wear. Try a different food that you've written off, that you don't like. Take a different route home. Speak to someone. Start and go to a club. Join something that you didn't think you'd ever want to do. But until you try these things, you don't know what you can achieve. The point is that you're doing it. You're pushing those mental blocks away that tell you to do nothing. Thank you.